Blot means when that liner that you have, if you've ever looked up before, that liner double blots and creates a half moon, and that's what you don't want. And I am going, again, I'm going to take that Sonia Kashuk brush, the synthetic brush, and I'm just going to kind of go over it, because that is the beauty of working with the Fast Response and all these other products, is that you can really build on top. And I'm just going to lose that edge right there. There's things that you get when you back up from your mirror. You can see a lot of what's going on in the bigger picture and see what you want to add and what you want to kind of repair. So I'm deciding by looking at this that I just want to kind of smooth out my brow highlight a lot. I'm going to take some Crystal Avalanche. I'm just going to go over it again with this really firm brush, which is really pretty. To just, there we go. Take the concealer and set it in with a sponge, and on the other side too. Okay. So that's why I'm double setting it. And then I'm going to take the carbon again, and I'm going to go on top of the feline and a little bit lower so that it kind of gives it a really nice smoky look. I'm going to go out to the sides with the carbon, and again out to the sides. And what this does is, again, this is really giving you that Carmen Electra cat eye and really dragging it out, because I really like to bring a lot of depth to the outside portion of the eye. Okay, so yeah, always you want to kind of fix the step that you did before, because that's what's creating balance. That's where girls go wrong. They stop and they don't blend enough. So I'm going to take that brush, the 226, and I'm going to go over, I'm going to load it up with carbon, black tide, whatever you want. It's black. And I'm just going to really get on top of that line and make sure that everything is nice and super blended. And then again, on the other side. And this is doing what? This is losing the edge. Losing the edge is the most important technique my mother ever taught me. And that just means when you have a line, you finish your line. When you have a dark color that you're introducing to a slightly lighter color, you want to make sure that, that you're hazing between the two shades. Okay, I'm going to take a synthetic small dome-shaped brush. This is actually Sonia Kashuk. Sonia Kashuk can be purchased at Target, shockingly enough, and they make beautiful brushes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Smut with this brush. It's like this domey brush, and I'm going to load up the synthetic brush. And the reason that I'm choosing the synthetic is because I really want something that's firm and on there. And I'm going to stretch out my eyes, and I'm going to drag really low underneath the feline. And you think you're dragging way too low and you think it's too dangerous, but this is why, you know, those magazines look so much different than how traditional girls do their makeup, because a lot of girls would be afraid to drag this low. So I'm going to really stretch it out. I'm going to get into the corners. So again, I'm going to go back to that brush that I used the Night Train with, which was that mid-crease color, that lighter gray that I introduced to the vanilla. I'm going to refresh that. Now, there's a technique that was taught to one of the huge women in MAC, and what happened was she was at Fashion Week, and when she was at Fashion Week, she would usually use makeup remover to use a technique which is called slicing, but instead she chose to she couldn't find the makeup remover, and she had to get the girl out fast, so she found what was called Fast Response Eye Cream, which is our regular staple eye cream at MAC. What it is it's primarily caffeine, and it has a pigment in it that deflects light from dark circles. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take that product, the Fast Response Eye Cream. Now this is crazy, because this is where a lot of my students get nervous when I ask them to do this, and this is a pretty risque thing to ask somebody to do, because you're taking all that work that you just did and you feel like you're erasing it. But if you notice, when I'm going under right now, I'm not getting too close to that bottom lash line. I'm just kind of, you know, meshing everything in, because this is what I'm about to do. I'm going to do the slice technique, but I'm going to do it with a fast response. And what Meg learned when she did this was that it allowed you to build more product on top. So essentially, once you use makeup remover and then you try to put product on top of it, it's not going to work. When you use this fast response eye cream, it really allows it to not only depuff the eyes, but allows you to work again on top of it, because nobody's going to do a perfect slice and then just move on with their day. So make sure that you get into the corners, and sometimes you may want to let this soak in for a couple seconds, especially if you've been drinking the night before. You could also take a freezing cold teaspoon and pat underneath your eyes if you also have excessive puffiness. So I'm going to take a really firm sponge, and I'm going to start, and you want to be conscious of the angles that you drag at with the sponge, like the position of the sponge. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this sponge and I'm going to slice. That's called your slice, guys. See? Now this is changing the angle of the makeup, okay? Now I'm going to go again with this sponge. Super easy. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm very rough on my eyes. And the reason why is you're not going to get anywhere doing a smoky eye by using really light hands and light brushes. I'm probably one of the most heavy-handed makeup artists, I've been told. And the reason why is because when you do a look like this, you're not going to accomplish anything by making these really light brush strokes. So I'm taking that brush that I did the vanilla with, and I'm just kind of refreshing that outer area, because like I said, the fast response you can build on top of. And I just want to make sure that it doesn't look too draggy. And then again, I'm going to kind of go over that edge part out here with that beautiful new brush that MAC has, and it has, you know, the remainder of the carbon and the smut and the nitrate on there, but the most important part is that it has a symmetry. And then I'm going to take that pre-cut brush that I made again, and I'm going to haze. Okay, and you don't want any hard lines when you're doing a smoky look, because smoke and hard don't go in the same sentence. Smoke is something that's undescript, undefined, and the thing is you can do smoky with any kind of look. So right now, what you always want to do is you want to kind of back up and look at yourself and see where you're going with the look. And once you back up and you switch from using a more magnifying mirror to a lighter mirror, you can see kind of where you made a mistake and where you didn't. So I'm seeing right now that I would like to have it a little bit darker on this inner part. So I'm going to go back with that Sonia Kashuk brush and the smut. Smut, again, is my fave. And I want to grab, and I really feel like I'm melting the smut into the feline, which is pretty cool. Okay. So now that we have that on, let's move on to the face. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like a regular simple foundation, and then I'm going to build on top of the eyes once I get back there. The reason that a synthetic brush is better than a sponge is because it has no absorbency to it. So it's not going to suck up all your foundation or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 190 brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of Face and Body, which is one of my favorites, but you could use whatever foundation you have. The most important thing though is that you want to do a light check every once in a while. You know, take your camera and just click it at yourself to see how the light is bouncing off of your face. And I know for a fact that Face and Body is beautiful under light, so that's why I've chosen it. And I airbrushed my neck before, so I'm just going to kind of balance everything out with that C3, which is the color that I'm using. But you know, you want to use whatever foundation color you want. And I'm going to take my C3 and I'm going to kind of brush it all over my face. You can get under your eyes a little bit, but you're going to put some concealer under there. Some makeup lines really only believe in yellow-based concealers. Some makeup lines only believe in pink-based concealers. And then some believe in both, some believe in olive. So you want to kind of make sure that you're choosing what's best for you, because you don't want to go by what one, you know, makeup line thinks is the proper base. You need the proper base for your skin. And I'm a believer that, you know, people are 1,000 different bases because there's thousands of different shades of skin. So I'm just kind of brushing the foundation all over my face, on my forehead, in between my eyes, brows. I'm hazing up here. Now I'm going to take an NW25 Select SPF concealer, the same one as I use on my base for my eyeshadow, and I'm going to brush that underneath the eye. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to pull it into that tear ducting area, again underneath this eye, And I'm just going to kind of fan that puppy out.